What is hate speech? That's a very interesting question. We have a fellow who where'd it go? There's no setup for this. Oh well. Apparently, somebody is being charged with hate speech. In fact, Bill, I'll bet you can tell us all about this. Liveprayer.com. Bill, the Reverend Bill Keller, on the line with us. Hey, Bill.
Tom, how you doing, my friend?
I'm fine. So, who is this guy who is being charged with hate speech?
Well, the Muslims have taken a page out of the radical homosexual playbook, and now they're using the government to try to basically silence anybody who dares to speak anything
critical of Islam. Who is the guy who spoke? Who's the guy who's being charged with hate speech? Is it you?
Well, nobody as of yet, but the U.S. Attorney in the Middle District of Tennessee and 3 FBI agents are giving a symposium this week in Tennessee, talking about how they want to enact laws to make any kind of what they call inflammatory speech against Muslims deemed as hate speech and criminalized. Which is exactly what the homosexual radicals have pretty much been successful in doing over the last few years.
So how would you feel if people were running around saying, Bill Keller is a right-wing wackadoodle, and therefore you should firebomb his house, and then somebody did?
Well, number one, people go around all day long calling me a right-wing wackadoo, and actually I do get about 8 to 10 death threats every month. But you know what? That's free speech. I got to tell you something, Tom. When you start talking about firebombing people's houses and doing physical harm to people, I think now you are in some dangerous territory.
Well, that was my point. Because I get death threats. I get death threats too. But the fact of the matter is that I'm still here, and hate speech. Generally, by law, the definition of hate speech doesn't even kick in unless it's associated with an actual crime. So if somebody can track somebody's speech back to a crime happening or to, a serious intimidation, a limitation of another person's rights, isn't that something that you would defend, that is, to prosecuting that person?
But here's the problem. Nothing I personally have ever said has ever incited people to violence or encouraged people to violence. Matter of fact, that's what the Muslims do. They're the ones that incite people to violence.
How do you know that people are not listening to what you say and haven't listened? I mean, you've said some pretty damn strong things about Muslims. You talk about Islam being a phony religion and it's a lie and all this kind of stuff. All right, so phony religion from hell. And so how do you know that kind of speech isn't going to cause some slightly unbalanced Christian who thinks that they've got the only way to go, or something else? I mean, some Hindu someplace or something, to say, oh, it's the Muslims, huh? And go after them. I mean, I would say that your kind of rhetoric about Islam, which is blanket and general and condemnatory and not at all nuanced, and doesn't point out that the vast majority of Muslims just want to have a decent life. They want their kids to go to a decent school. They want to have a decent job.
You bought into that lie too, but that's okay.
It's not a lie. It is
a lie.
Listen, come on, Bill.
Tom,
I've been in Muslim nations.
If Muslims had the numbers in this country that they have, like in Saudi Arabia, or let's take Egypt for a fact, they would be living Islam exactly the way it's taught in the mosque, even in this country. But they don't have the numbers yet.
Even in Saudi Arabia and in Egypt, Bill, the vast majority, even in Saudi Arabia and Egypt, the vast majority of Muslims wake up in the morning not thinking, oh, gee, I think I'm going to go out and do something that is religious and weird. They wake up in the morning saying, how can I put food on my table? How can I get a decent education for my daughter?
But here's the difference, Tom. The teachings of this false religion have 1,400-year documented history of hatred, violence, terror, and death.
Well, so does Christianity.
Listen, you're a newsman. Go to the news every day, and you can find stories in the news every day where violence is happening around the world, and almost all of it's tied to Islam.
That's nonsense, Bill. I can look at the news. I can look at the news every day, and I can see a General Boynton saying, "Our God, our Christian God, is bigger than your Muslim God, and our country is dropping bombs out of the sky and killing innocent people in faraway countries that all happen to be Muslim. We have killed hundreds of thousands of Muslims in the last decade."
It has nothing to do with advancing It has nothing to do with advancing the Christian
Tell
theology.
that to the Muslims on the receiving end of these bombs when the President of the United States, George Bush, calls it a crusade, and when his general says it's because it's our God is bigger than their God.
It is
this
not.
Is Christian terrorism, Bill, from their point of view.
And that's the difference.
No. Think about it from their point of view. This is Christian terrorism from their point of view.
Propagated for 1,400 years.
There are people like yourself who say that this is a Christian nation and we are dropping bombs and killing their children.
But it's got nothing to do with advancing Christianity. That's the point, Tom. When these people do what they do, it's to advance Islam. Go ask Nadal and the Fort Hood shooter. You're going to hear all about that over the next few months as he stands up and tells you exactly what Islam is about. Just like the Times Square bomber, that Fassad stood in that courtroom and told people
and there is no
Islam
shortage of people like yourself who are, maybe you're not going quite this far, but people who are in that camp who are saying, oh, well, it's okay if we drop bombs on Muslim nations. God forbid we should drop a bomb on Germany or on a Christian nation.
You're talking apples and oranges.
No, I'm saying you have not.
In terms of dropping bombs, it's about fighting the war on terror. It's got nothing
Jesus'
to do
main
with
message.
The Christian theology.
Bill, you're ignoring what Christ said. His main message was put yourself in the other person's shoes. And
that's
if
not
you
what
were,
he said. What he said is, I'm the way, the truth, the life. Nobody comes to the Father through me. That's what he said. Everybody likes to parse his words and take part of what he says, but they don't want to live the other part.
Yeah, and if there's a beam in your eye, don't yell about the mote in your neighbor's eye. And love is the first commandment. All those other things. We can do dueling Bible verses if we want here, Bill. But what you're missing. And I just have to believe that you haven't seriously thought about this. And I would like you to, I doubt you will on the air right now, but I'd like you to seriously consider this tonight and maybe even pray about it. But just imagine you are a person who grew up in a Muslim country, and young man grew up in a Muslim country. Think, hey, this is a good religion. And all of a sudden, people from a Christian country are killing you. They put an embargo.
What Christian country?
The United States. We put an embargo on Iraq that killed 500,000 children.
Tom, your premise is wrong. What Christian country?
Do you not assert that the United States is a Christian country?
Absolutely, not even close. 40 years ago, maybe, not even now. And also, the other false premise you make
do you not think that most Muslims think that we think we're a Christian country?
Those bombs were not being dropped to further the cause of Christ. That's the key difference. What Islam did on 9/11 was to further the Muslim faith.
No,
what we
it wasn't.
Did in Iraq and Afghanistan was to protect
Osama bin
Laden
Osama bin Laden
terrorism.
was very explicit. Back in 1998, when he basically told us what he was going to do, he said he wasn't trying to get recruits to Islam. Come on, you don't do that way. What he said was that we were defiling the holy site. The holy site of Saudi Arabia by having an Air Force base there, which George Bush Sr. put there when he drove Saddam out of Saddam Hussein out of.
Well, how come Saudi Arabia, which is a Muslim country, lets us have a base there?
Well, there's you got a fairly corrupt government there, but why? But George W. Bush actually took Saddam's advice. George W. Bush actually,
not the United States.
Bill, it doesn't work when we yell over each other. George W. Bush actually took Osama bin Laden's advice and closed that base. But he said that this is it. You're defiling our land, and so we're going to kick you until you stop. It's our behavior. It's not our religion.
They're the ones that let him put it there.
Oh, Bill. Can you? Well, okay. Bill Keller, founder of Live Prayer. LivePrayer.com is the website. All right. Good talking with you, Bill.
Always good, buddy.
Thanks.
This is the Thom Hartmann Program.
And can you imagine if Canada invaded the United States? Would you be out there trying to defend the United States against Canada? I mean, even if they were defending us for what they thought was a good reason?